into it. So we left off
Our guys
on
had a little bit of outside emergency, just in case they
it's
look
all good.
wonder.
It's all good. It's all good. Again, there's much to talk about, much to celebrate. So let's keep it
Like
going
happens.
here. Yep.
Yes, sir.
So the tag, like we were saying, that tag title match is going to be one you guys are not going to want to miss out because that's going to be again a fight. It's two hungry teams going at it. And like I said, I'm hoping PJ's going in with a clear mentality of who he's facing because if not, again, it might cost him those belts on Saturday.
Keep on calling me out. So if he's focused on me, Jay Bougie thinks that he's living in my head. I got a little
Yeah.
story time for Jay Bougie later, but PJ Savage wants me so bad. He needs to focus on his tag titles, or else they'll be Ross and Bradley's tag titles. You know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying though is one more thing too, because again, we'll talk about him on in his match, but one of your old tag partners is gonna be there that night too. So they keep talking. Maybe KTB and you strap it up one more time.
I mean, anything is possible. It's my
Yeah,
show. I can do whatever I want.
there you go, guys. There you go. Again, I'm gonna quote the SAT one more time. Expect the unexpected, guys. Expect the unexpected.
Orale.
But
You
let's
know,
keep it going.
they're not even Mexican, but I say orale like they are.
Well, hey, I feel like for the most part, probably a lot of people thought they were, especially with the name Spanish announce team. They're like, eh.
Yeah.
So at one point, we were all possibly considered it. So, but let's keep it going because with a matchup, I'm definitely looking forward to. Again,
Uh,
for an old JPW mark here, I can't wait for this. Again, when I heard this match announced, I was like, "There's no way." To see Jay Lover back in the ring. You got again Uncle Magic here, Magic stepping in that ring, and then Crazy Ivan. When I saw this, I'm like, this again. This is it right here. Is
this is the match that if Fat Frank was alive, he would definitely be front row to watch.
yeah,
He loved all three of these guys. At one point, they were all champions for him, whether it was tag, Jersey State, whatever. And he enjoyed, like, Frank loved wrestling, but he really enjoyed wrestling that was unpredictable. He really loved the expect the unexpected. I know we keep saying that, but he was all about that life. And this match is definitely one of those. I've been in the ring with all three guys. I can tell you that they're all tough. They're all experienced veterans. Um, right off the bat, if you talk about Magic, Magic is the reason why most of the Northeast Indies exist. There's so many guys who have been, you know, influenced or helped out or whatever by Magic that it's ridiculous. Guys like Santana Ortiz, myself, and Moff, TJ Marconi, so many guys who are something today because of Magic. And, the storyline is Magic is my old partner, and now he's a bum and everything. But deep down inside, no matter what, I'll always respect Magic. He has done so much for me in my career, and I know that for him, he lives to be in the ring no matter what.
yeah,
And God forbid, but if he died in the ring, he couldn't be any happier
no,
knowing Magic. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Um, Crazy Ivan is legit what he says, crazy. Um, he knows how to get a reaction no matter what. And when I was running the things at JP towards the end, he was one of my guys that I brought in to help run the back because he didn't care who you were, where you've been, what you did. He wanted you to perform. He got you to perform. You know, um, yeah, I had him in charge of talent with promos because his character is just insane. He knows how to
yeah,
bring that out of people. And like I said, as soon as he comes out, you know nothing about him, but you know to boo him. I never seen that with anybody else. You know what I mean? As soon as he walks out, and then I've seen him where he's had the whole crowd cheer for him. And so at the time, because back in the days, you could be more racist and more politically incorrect. And his gimmick was he was skinhead Ivan, the Nazi. And I've seen him make a crowd of black people cheer for him because he started breakdancing. So if that don't tell you anything about the band, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And then there's Jay Lover, who Jay Lover is someone that when I started, he came from that venue that I told you about where Louis ran IWW.
yeah.
And one of my first tests in my career was against Jay Lover and Homicide. And ever since then, um, we've always been boys, you know. The good times and bad, we always, had each other's back. And Jay Lover is someone that he has been through some of the worst stuff, and I've seen him overcome it to where he's on TV, on big TV shows. He's been in movies, commercials, everything you could think of. He's done everything he could to overcome his past and become a shining star. And I'm very proud of Jerry and the stuff that he's done. But he's also one of the toughest, craziest individuals that I've ever seen in the ring. There was one night, Homicide and him had the feud. Like, that's the feud that'll never die, Homicide and Jay Lover. But we were in Charity Hall in Bayonne, and they're beating the crap out of each other. JP had these ring steps that were notoriously heavy. Solid steel frame with thick wooden planks. And I'm not lying, if this set of stairs weighed less than 100 pounds, you know what I mean? Like, then, I can't even, there's nothing I can even say. That's how heavy these steps were.
Yeah.
Homicide picked him up, walked over to Jay Lover, and just dropped him on the back of Jerry's head. And Jerry, but he was still up, wide awake, and still kept fighting. There was another time where we were in a battle royal, and it was Moff's first battle royal, first anything in wrestling, really. So Moff was super green, and Jerry told Moff, hit me in the back with the chair when you come in. I'll sell for you. Moff, not knowing, took the chair full blast over his head, smashed it behind Jerry's head. Jerry, if you watch the video, gets hit and and falls, right? Was up less than a minute later. You know what I mean? Like, Jerry, we used to make fun of how big his head is. We used to call him the Superdome. But for as big as his head is, he took a lot of punishment and he kept fighting. And that's something that Jerry's always been, a fighter, and like I said, this match is going to be something that I know I'll enjoy, the fans will enjoy, but if Fat Frank was still alive, he would enjoy, and it's definitely the right thing to call it the JP Originals match, because this is the true spirit of JP with those three guys.
No, definitely. And it's amazing to see. And like I said, as someone that grew up on that, when I heard this announcement, first, just seeing Magic in there was great. Like, I looked up this picture because I was like, it's the moment that was great to see you guys team up there.
What's so funny about that picture? So that was the first time I was ever able to wear any of my titles since my second or third year in pro wrestling. Yeah. And that night we lost those belts. So go figure.
Yeah, it was a sign, never put them around your waist again.
Okay. But I was training hard because that was around the same time I did my first WWE shots. I think that was a week after. So I was training hard to make sure I was in some sort of decent shape. So the belt fit perfect. I was like, yeah, look at it. Well, I got to give it up now.
No, but it's great. Like, again, even when I talked about it on the indie perspective, Magic is someone that, again, like you even said, how much he's influenced you guys and influenced so many, again, top stars right now on mainstream. The first time I met him was that anniversary show, the one that SWF put together, the big anniversary. And again, I grew up watching Magic, but the fact that when I got to speak to him for a bit after the show, we're all just chilling there, and he gave me his time, and to me, that it was amazing. Because again, I'll still say it. Doing this conversation, to me, it's like I don't deserve it. Like, I'm still young in here. I'm still that young kid still. And getting a moment like that and hearing how Magic talks about the business and hearing his encouraging words, it's like, this is a true definition of a legend right here. And seeing him step inside, it's crazy.
I described Magic recently as the uncle that will tell you, hey, don't do this because blah, 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 you're going to upset your mother. But then at the same time, he'll give you $20 to go to the arcade and go spend your time at the arcade. Like, that's definitely Magic. And he gets a lot of love, for who he is and what he's done. And I definitely am grateful that we were able to have Magic, show us everything from the beginning until now and beyond. So there'll never be a bad word you'll ever hear me say about Magic.
Definitely. I know that sentiment's so true because that night when I met him, I got to speak with him. First thing he asked me, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Mm-hmm.
When I told him, "Yeah, I'm getting into training," I even rode with Smiley that day. He's like, "You see the crazy things he does. Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." I told him how much I respect this business. He's like, "Okay, have any questions, let me know." So on a drop, he's like, "Okay, you're doing it, so do it the
Mm-hmm.
right way." So
Yeah,
it's always
exactly.
great to hear that.
Where I get all of my feelings about pro wrestling, how I wanted to be, is all from Magic. Because Magic showed me, gave me an opportunity, 20 plus years ago at JP, when they told him they wanted him to just squash me. He was like, "No, why? That don't make any sense." And he gave me an opportunity, and I was able to take the opportunity to run, and I was also take the lesson of help out the younger guys when you can.
Yeah.
And that's always stayed with me, and that's always been how I do all of my wrestling business. You know what I mean? Always help out the younger guys when you can, because those are the ones that, when you're watching this, if they suck, you're not going to want to watch this anymore. But if they're good and you have a hand in it, you're going to be proud to watch all of it.
Definitely, definitely. No, that's gonna be again this one right here, especially for those fans that are coming in that have known that history. This is the match for you guys. This is gonna be great, especially for the young ones. Watch this match because you're gonna see why we're talking about Magic the way we're talking about. You're gonna see why they call Crazy Ivan Crazy Ivan. It's gonna be again a little more, I guess, for this day and age, but I still feel like he's gonna do something crazy. Like I just saw when
Mm-hmm.
we took our little break. Jay Lover posted a picture of Crazy Ivan, and he looks crazier than ever. So
The best part
that's
is Jay Lover is bringing someone that a lot of people don't know too much about, Burns Luciano,
the
who is one of our boys from when he been training longer than me, but he's one of the funniest individuals that I've ever met in my life, and he's someone that I really feel like he should have gotten more burn in professional wrestling because he's a great character, and trust me, when he shows up, we might get in a little bit of trouble because he's a little bit edgy, he's a little bit, push the envelope, but Burns Luciano is funny. And then there's Fufu, who is an original JP guy that used to manage with Fat Frank and wrestle with Fat Frank. So there's going to be a lot of history just in that match alone.
oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this again. That's gonna be my match right there. That I'm just gonna be all eyes on. Like that's it. No one talk to me. I'm watching this. That's it. Well,
It'll be
let's
a
keep
lot
it
of fun.
going here. This is gonna be another good one here because we got. He calls himself the good guy now. Another veteran in the game, so many years in this industry as well. Azrael taking on Rocket. This one it's again, it's that test I feel like here. It's that test of the old school, new school flavor here. And I can't wait to see what these two. It's funny because this is, I believe, Azrael's debut for Titan as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be it's
Yes, it
gonna be
is.
cool to see what Azrael shows the Titan faithful this Saturday.
Well, so with Rocket, the first time I ever saw Rocket, he was in a three-way dance against Smiley and Nikos Ricos, and he impressed everyone that saw him, you know. And so, like, I've always, like I said, always been about giving the younger guys an opportunity. Now, originally, Azrael was going to wrestle somebody else. That's why I contacted Azrael, but then the person couldn't make it. So I said, all right, cool. Let's put him in there with somebody young. So we put him in there with Rocket. Azrael is someone that I've been wrestling since the early 2000s. I want to say 2000, actually. Might even be 99, but, he's someone that, I mean, if you look at him, he's in phenomenal shape, but he's always been the one to test, whether it's me, Moff, Key, Homicide, didn't matter who it was. He was the one that you could test him and he'll test you back. Whether it's his cardio, his stamina, his agility, his strength, because he is undercover strong, you know. Um, and he's always someone that I enjoyed. He's creative. I always enjoyed wrestling him. So it would make sense if I'm bringing in Azrael, I'll put him in there with someone who was the younger version of him, or could be the younger version of him. You know,
Ooh,
um,
that's okay.
well, I mean, if you look at the theme of the show, it's
Yeah,
all the new age versus the originals.
yeah,
And Azrael, he's gonna have to face that just like all of us. As time goes on, eventually he's gonna catch up. Nobody beats Father Time,
yeah,
but let's see, how prepared both of these guys are to face each other. You know, I think Azrael is gonna, with the experience advantage, you know, more than likely come out on top. However, I like the underdog too. The underdog's got a lot of surprises up his sleeve, so you can't just count him out. You know, and we've been talking about it this whole show. This is one of those where you might think but you can't predict for sure
yeah.
because anything is possible. You know what I mean?
No, it really is. And at one point, Azrael was one of those guys that he was that same underdog mentality. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm Rocket, I'm watching Azrael tapes. I'm watching. Hey, go back to the Special K days. Watch out when he was young. Start studying
Yep.
that and bring that Saturday. Because especially with a match
Yeah.
like this, like,
Especially there's going to be more eyes on Titan this weekend than there have been ever. There's gotten more press. I don't know if you noticed, but I've definitely noticed that more guys have been doing podcasts about this show, have been doing press releases, have been doing promos. A lot of people are going all out. And, a lot of it is because they respect me, and I appreciate that totally. But there's definitely a lot more eyes on this, and you have to understand that this is the time for you to step up the game. I had sent in a private message to the roster that, hey, listen, I want you guys to have fun, but at the same time, look your best. Make sure your gear is on point. Make sure your hair, your face, everything on point, your makeup, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to see you, and you don't want to be the guy that they're like, oh, the guy that just wore the raggedy old wife beater. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the guy that stands out, and if everyone's standing out, then it's going to be your wrestling that really makes you stand out more than anything, you know. But don't give them a reason to not watch your wrestling or pay attention, And this is one of those cases where, if Rocket is serious about it, he'll come looking like the Godfather, all pimped out. You know what I'm saying?
definitely. No, and this is going to be, again, with a card like this, it definitely shows why it's going to be so stacked, why it's going to be so like insane to be in that atmosphere on Saturday. And it's true though. My whole social feed this week has been Titan, Titan, Titan. And that's a good thing though,
Mm-hmm.
because again, it's showing how invested people are not only in the matches but what this night represents. And again, end of the day, it comes out to it's about you, and that's the great thing about it. It's showing that respect for what you've done for this, and I can't wait for how it turns out on Saturday. But also, again, of how crazy this night already is. When I saw this announcement again, it really felt like, okay, this is Mack's night right here. Because from that promo earlier, we saw him there, but I can't believe the special guest ring announcer for that night is Mark Clemson himself. How did this happen? I want to know this story. How did this transpire to get this to happen for that night?
Honestly, this is a surprise on Titan's behalf.
Yeah,
I had hit up Mod Trom and Mark Clemson to come hang out at the show, which they were going to be there anyway.
yeah,
But then Charlie, he threw it out there out of nowhere, and I was like, "What?" And popped so huge, and like we used to always tease Mark Clemson because as ring announcers, commentators, whatever, you're on the low end of the totem pole when it comes to behind the scenes and whatever. But we used to say that he negotiated A-Rod pricing for his commentating pay, so we were like, oh, he got the green M&Ms for his contract on this one. You know what I mean? He went all out. But no, it's pretty awesome that Mark is going to be a part of this and in front of the camera because for all the years that I've been wrestling, some of my favorite years were the years that I got to commentate with Mark Clemson,
yeah.
and we had a friendship inside the ring and outside the ring. And he's one of the guys that holidays, birthdays, we always talk, other things. We always meet up whenever we can. And no matter what, I've known Clemson as long as anybody else almost in this business. And I got to witness him grow up. He got to witness me grow up. And it's very cool that he gets to be a part of this, and not only be there, but also be a part of it. It's really cool to me that that's one of the best surprises that Charlie threw at me for this show. And I popped, like I said, huge. And I was like, oh, A-Rod's going to be in town. That's what's up.
Oh man, that's great. No, again, when I saw that flyer, I'm like, oh, it was like the cherry on top. Like it was just
Hmm.
that's great. That's great to see again. So also again for those watching and those that are gonna be there Saturday, this is gonna be a treat. So definitely look forward to that. Next up, this matchup again. We started talking about him earlier. I can't wait to talk about this. The Championship on the line here, TCW Heavyweight Championship, as Johnny Moran defends against KTB. And I want to say you have your hand in this somehow because you sent Johnny just you sent him a beast, legit. Like this
Johnny
is
Two Belt.
Wes.
So, so ultimately, when all is said and done, I'm glad that I had this feud with Johnny Moran because we were given freedom, creativity to
Yeah,
express and come up with different things for the last year. Um, and this is more of that storyline. To be honest, we never came up with an end for the storyline. We just were planning on just going and riding the wave as long as we could ride. Um, but, you know, I'm very proud that Johnny Moran has stepped up to what he's been. I put him through hell the last year. You know, I definitely think that there's still some parts of his game that need polishing, but the only way he can get that is by being in there with guys like Kyle the Beast, who, again, what did we talk about with Titan? This is the platform to go up to that next level. You can't get to that next level without guys like Kyle the Beast who are on that next level. Kyle the Beast, I've known him since he was about 15, 16 years old. KTB, I know he doesn't like to be called Kyle anymore. Oh, I'm so sorry. But maybe if I say it enough times, he'll get pissed off and he'll beat the shit out of Johnny Moran. But, um, you know, KTB is someone who has totally transformed himself. If you see him when he was first starting in this business, fat, chubby kid, didn't know how to do anything serious, to the animal that he is now. There's nobody that works harder than him in this business than KTB.
yeah,
And there's no reason why he isn't on TV every week getting paid. He should be. I totally believe that, 1,000%. Now, Johnny Moran needs to understand that he's got to step up his game and get to that next level. Because as we get older, obviously the opportunity becomes less and less. Moran's got the following online. He's got, social media presence. He's got a good look, good size. He just needs someone to take him there. I opened the door for him. Now we're going to push him through it. Storyline wise, he took my hand in my title reign. I wanted revenge. Bringing KTB was the best sort of revenge that I could think of. So pretty much that's that whole match to me in a nutshell.
no, and definitely that story, getting to watch it transpire between you two, it was something I feel like you kind of don't see anymore. Like you see in certain promotions, they try to do stories, but it's usually that like, oh, in a month, that's it, the payoff's there. With
Mm-hmm.
this, it had so many elements to it that it was like, again, you never knew when it was going to end. Who says it's ended? Again, like you said, you
Exactly.
sent KTB.
Mm-hmm.
This might not have ended yet. Story's still
Yeah.
a story never has its last chapter. So it's great to see what you guys are doing. And Johnny Moran, like you said, he has that look to him. He's getting ready to step on that platform right there and get to that next level. This matchup, I can't wait to see because again, KTB is a beast. You've said it. He is a beast. He's great to see. Killing it off at the Hammerstein a few weeks ago. Now coming in, might end Johnny Moran's reign a little short. Who knows? It's another one.
Wouldn't
It's
that
not
be
an
a
easy prediction.
tragedy? Like I said, wouldn't that be a tragedy if that were to happen? Nah. Like I said, I fully expect this to be competitor for match of the night.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do things where I want to see people come back because they were so into what they saw.
Yeah.
And this was definitely one of the matches where I feel like a lot of different things can happen from this point on. So let's see where we go with it. Like I said, nothing is written in stone. We didn't set a finish. Everything, we're just riding the wave, and the wave hasn't even started to crest yet. You know what I mean? So let's see where we go.
Exactly. So I'm gonna steal SAT one more time. Expect the unexpected that night, because who knows? You have your match. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But who knows if you stick your nose in that a little bit? Again, it's your show. You can do what you want that night.
Honestly, I loved holding on to that belt. I have my arcade. I showed you the picture. The title was on my arcade. It looked great there. But I have the Catalyst Tag Team title there, but it's still missing the Titan Heavyweight Championship title there. So I wouldn't mind getting it back and putting it back on my display with my arcade. So
again, you never know what happens, guys. So stay tuned. But again, we have more to talk about here, including this matchup that I know has been, since it's announced, it's been the talk of the town. It's been called a dream match for a reason. I even talked about earlier this morning. It's one of the cornerstones when you talk about JPW in Arcadia taking on, which again, I'm going to be a little biased because he's one of my best friends, one of the independent standouts and cornerstones of this generation right here, Anthony Gangone going at it here. This is a match I can't wait to see here. Like
I am a fan of Anthony Gangone. I've been a fan. I think he's a brilliant mind for professional wrestling. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he was probably born too late. He really should have been born a lot sooner and been able to work with that older generation of professional wrestlers. But it is what it is. He's a great wrestler. Storyline wise, we wrestled last month, and Jay Bougie was out there, kind of cost me the match. Gangone thinks he's so smart. I got something for you, buddy. So I call one of my favorite people, one of my favorite wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers. And he would fight with me all the time. And I tell him, no, you are. You're a lot greater than you will ever know, because there are so many people who've been influenced by Arcadia. So many people who watch wrestling because of Arcadia. And when you look at all the people who have had great matches, they've had it against Arcadia. Arcadia is just somebody who's very special to me. Outside the ring too, from day one, we've always had a really close relationship. I was the first person he called when he went on his first date with his wife. You know what I mean? It was like that. He's always been like my brother, my little brother. You know what I mean? I'm like his big brother. And it's always been, and he has a brother that he's really tight with, brothers and sisters, stuff. He's got family, but wrestling wise, I was his guy. And, when he was another one, when he would be down and out, I would call him to keep him up, because, real life, sometimes you really can't, like we saw earlier today, you just can't stop real life. It happens. Yep. Professional wrestling, you might be making a living out of it, but nothing's ever going to stop real life from, stopping you from doing it. And, I would keep in touch with him and check on him and make sure he was okay and keep him interested in wrestling, because once you fall out of wrestling, it's very hard to get back in.
Yeah.
It really is a drug, and I've seen a lot of guys who, I'm just going to take a little while off, and then they never come back. Or if they come back, they're nowhere near as good or nowhere near as motivated, and it just becomes a waste. But Arcadia took his time off, focused on what he needed to, I always made sure that, something he knew about wrestling was going on or whatever, just to whet his appetite. And he comes back. Arcadia has been on fire ever since he came back.
I was gonna say it felt like he hasn't missed a step since his comeback too.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, he showed me his first match back in JCW, and he really didn't look like he had any time off at all.
Yeah.
Looked exactly the same way last time I saw him. Looked exactly the same way the last time he wrestled. And you would never know that there was like a 5-year gap or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So, I have always been a huge fan of his missile dropkick, springboard missile dropkick.
ooh, okay.
One of my favorites was Otani in New Japan and 0-1. He would hit it so beautiful. And Arcadia was as close to that as you can go. And every time he would hit it, if I was commentating, I always made a big spectacle of it because, it was awesome. It was amazing. You know what I mean? And he could do things so seamlessly that he's kind of oblivious to the fact that not everyone could do that, And for me, that's what makes him special is he doesn't really realize that he's doing something special. He's just doing him.
Yeah. I feel like he does that out of, again, humility too. That's like, I'm nothing special, but it's like the things he's doing. Like I always pop when I see that leg drop he does, which again, it's like that moment of like, and when it connects, it's just perfection.
Like, yeah. He's amazing. And that's the crazy part. He doesn't know how amazing he is, how much of a standout he is. When I would tell him that guys in the Midwest and Indiana, when I would try to hit them up for work for JP, they'd all ask about him. Hey, is Arcadia still working? You think I could work with Arcadia? And he'd get the hell out of here. No, bro, for real. There's so many people that when I talk about JP, he's one of the first names that come up, because he was part of that worldwide, viewers. When Worldwide started to blow up, as YouTube started to blow up, he was one of the faces. Him, Jay Lethal, Azrael, those were the faces of Worldwide. So a lot of people grew up watching those guys and remembering those guys.
I'm guilty.
There's a lot of people, and it speaks volumes of how good of a wrestler Arcadia is that so many years have gone on. And one, he still looks the same. And two, people remember all that. Yeah. They remember it for a reason. It's not because you suck. It's because you were great. So with Gangone and Arcadia wrestling each other, this is definitely going to be, I know both guys want to wrestle each other. I know that both guys are looking forward to wrestling each other. But this is going to be my match, like my personal, I'm going to sit down and watch and just be a fan because, I love watching both guys. And I feel like this is going to be, again, with KTB's match and Azrael's match and pretty much all the other matches, this is going to be contender for match of the night.
It really is. And again, I can imagine. I know how it is with his, just the mindset he goes in. With this one, I don't know where his mindset is because he's bringing out something so different on Saturday, I feel like. Because this is, again, it means that much. And again, I know Arcadia is going to bring something just that crazy and innovative as well. Because they both do that. It's why so many people love their bodies of work is it's never the same match when they go out there. It's never the same. It's never like, oh yeah, they do this, they do that. There's a few moves you can expect, like you said, that drop kick, that like the leg drop, like I said, but Arcadia is going to bring something crazy that night. And Ant's another one that would do the same. I call him my older brother for a reason because I just love what he does and I love getting to talk to him and hear what he thinks about this business as well. And I know this is going to be one that, again, you said it best. It might be contender right there for match of the night. That's going to be one you guys are not going to want to miss. And even Matt Awesome says he's another one guilty of that too. Matt, we all are, man. That JP Worldwide was great. It was ahead of its time.
I love doing Worldwide because, like you said, it was ahead of its time. I mean, there was one other show that was online before us. It was for New England Pro, I believe it was. But, Modtrom had made that show into something with their vision. You could blame it on the 420, but, they made JP stand out because you weren't seeing wrestling put out there like that. Even with the WWE's high quality, editing equipment and, whatever, it wasn't looking like JP Worldwide, and then you were seeing all of the best wrestlers: Samoa Joe, Homicide, Loki, Austin Aries, Tyler Black, CM Punk, all the guys who were somebody today, Daniel Bryan, and then you were seeing the Hit Squad, SAT, Amazing Red, Quiet Storm, Arcadia, Jushin Liger. I mean, everybody in it. Dude, there was a match between Samoa Joe and Okada before Okada was Okada. You know what I mean? Before he was the Rainmaker, it was Samoa Joe and Okada happened on JP. And to be honest, that was because TNA was doing JP a favor. They were just kind of like, yeah, sure, make him do something. They didn't even realize what they had. Okada became the greatest wrestler in the world for that 5-year stretch. And Joe is Joe. Joe was always phenomenal. You know what I mean? And that's another one. AJ Styles. How many times we had AJ Styles at JP? Wrestling everybody. Jay Lethal, the Briscoes. I mean, dude, you name it. Brody Lee, rest in peace. All these guys that we had on Worldwide and on JP. You know what I mean? And you want to be the next company to be like that. Look at Beyond. Beyond Wrestling is, I'm pretty sure that they had a big time, fan following for JP because a lot of the stuff that they did was very similar to how JP did things. And Beyond is one of the top companies. What did they call it for a while? The Pro Wrestling Guerrilla East Coast, because that's how big it was. You know what I mean? And that's all because JP, they set the standard, and if you wrestled back then on that show, you knew you were somebody. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, I feel like JPW was PWG before PWG existed in a sense. Like, look at, again, the who's who of who you're naming. It's like, I can imagine right now, someone's going to listen back to this and be like, wait, who was there? There's so many, I feel like, don't even know the history of what JP had. Like, again, getting to see Liger on there, Kenny Omega before the huge blow up, all that. It's like, again, anyone that you could think of went through those doors. And that's amazing.
What's crazy? I remember, and I don't know why this specific memory, Ruby Riott wrestled for JP one time. And I remember talking to her. I was like, hey, you want to work for JP? She's like, what? She was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, you and Chris Dickinson. Oh, yeah, she jumped. I didn't even have to ask, like, what was her price? She just jumped so quick because back then everybody knew JP, and that was something that was special for all the wrestlers. I can remember CM Punk the first time I ever met him. Him and Cole Cabana drove to Charity Hall in Bayonne, and it was one of the last Bayonne shows. And he had said it. He was like, man, I want to wrestle you guys so bad. I've been hearing about the Hit Squad coming up and, seeing you guys. And I was like, I want to wrestle CM Punk and Cole Cabana. You know what I mean? But it never happened, unfortunately. But, that was something that it was an everyday occurrence when you wrestle for JP because people, tape traders and magazines and whoever could spread the word of mouth. That's how it was making it happen. There wasn't that heavy, internet influence because the internet was still in its infancy. It's not until later on that Worldwide came out around 2006 that things changed. But, even then, before that, we were as popular as you could get. And it was crazy that there wasn't, we weren't on TV. We weren't on, pay-per-view or anything like that. But people knew, my ex-wife used to get pissed off. I'd be walking in like Great Adventure or someplace, Hit Squad. I'd be like, yeah, what's up? It's like, how the hell do they know you? I don't know.
No, it definitely was. That was the hot commodity. If you can find the tape of JP, that was gold right there. Again, as we transition, you're trying to find on LimeWire. Where can I find JP? What computer am I messing up today to get this JPW match? Like,
it's worth the virus.
It was though, and again, like I say, nowadays it's so easy. It's crazy to think like if JPW was around now, its success would be it would be the alternative. It really would have. It would have been the place, and it was the place back then. But I feel like today it would have gotten just even crazier.
Well, just think about it this way: if there's no JP, Ring of Honor doesn't ever open.
Yep.
Because Ring of Honor is directly influenced by JP because Rob and Doug used to come and watch us at JP, and there were other companies, USA Pro, ICW, that they would see us, but JP was the main company that they would come to, and they'd see I mean, look at all of that first year's roster on Ring of Honor. 90% JP guys, with the exception of the West Coast guys, because they were West Coast, so they weren't wrestling for JP. But if they were, I'm sure they would have been wrestling for JP.
Yeah.
But JP influenced so many different things to this day. And that's something I truly believe. When Fat Frank and the old Booker Ray Sager, they were on point. They had something special. They definitely knew, their finger was on the pulse, and they knew that, they wanted to do things that stood out differently from what everybody else was doing. And that's something that Fat Frank always made sure of, because when Fat Frank came up, we talked about it a lot for the Hit Squad, Homicide, and Key. There was a glass ceiling with the indie guys. Back then, you were a guy who protected your spot. You weren't letting any of the young guys in. Here we come. We demand the spot. We demand that we're given that opportunity. And guys are like, Frank went through the same thing. He tried to get, people to run. People used to be like, oh, if you work for JP, that's, you're a backyarder. And he took that and he, made something huge out of it. He's like, all right, cool. You're going to want to work here. Sure enough, so many of the guys that, when Frank started that said, you're garbage or whatever, were all begging to work for JP. And you know what Frank did? Yeah, sure, you can work. You just got to put over my guys. That's it. You know what I mean? And that's how it worked, So that spirit is from Frank, and his determination to become something, and that spirit will live on with all of us that work for that company under him. And you see, like I said, you see with Titan, it's directly heavily influenced by JP.
Yeah.
One, because me and Magic are there, but two, because they were fans of JP. And that's something that it's really cool to be a part of. Trust me, it's not every day that you could feel a good vibe at a show. You definitely feel it.
And it's great to see that influence is there. And again, that influence has touched so many. That again, when you have those conversations, there's so many people that can be like, yeah, I saw this at JPW. I saw this. I saw that. And it transcends. And it's going to continue to as time goes on. So that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time to really talk about the main event here. It's the reason why this is all happening here. Let's talk about this matchup right here. It's that guy. I don't know who he is though. It's this newcomer here, Steve MONSTA Mack. I don't know if you heard of him. He's a newcomer now. It's against the Takeover's Jay Bougie. And again, him and the Takeover, they've been calling you out a lot. They've been hitting these promos. I saw what Jay had to say, and I just got to ask, what's the rebuttal here? You said you had a little bit of a story to tell here, so the floor is yours, Theo.
So, like I've been talking about this whole time, coming up, it was me, Homicide, Key, Moff, Louie, Mace, Buffy from the Christopher Street Connection, the SAT, Red, Quiet Storm Divine, Lathon the Tower of Torture, Jay Lover. There's a couple other guys who were along. We were all part of the wave. We were all hungry, looking for an opportunity. When there was a ceiling, no, you're too short. No, you're too fat. No, you're too Hispanic. No, you bleed too much. No, you can't wrestle enough. No, you wrestle too good, or whatever it was. They would try to do everything to keep us back. We developed this massive chip. There's a reason why all the Hit Squad guys, you know who we are. Whether you like us, you love us, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know who we are. So many people hate Low Key, right? So many people keyboard warrior against Low Key. You know, and I know, because you've seen Low Key in the back. You know how he is. If he wants to be a jerk, sure, he can. But is he a jerk the whole time? No. He's teaching. But he's not going to let you see that. He's not going to let you know if you're not part of the locker room, if you're not part of the brotherhood. Because to him, he respects everything that comes with it. He puts the utmost pride in his work. And listen, I'm his cousin. I'm his blood. First cousins. We've had our fights. We've had our arguments. You know what I mean? But I would never, ever in a million years doubt that Low Key doesn't love this and doesn't take this with respect. And the reason why he gets a pass from me is because I know what he went through, because we all went through it together. We got told no, and we got told everything you could be told. Same thing with Homicide. Homicide, he's too thug, he's too gangster. English is a second language for him, so he doesn't speak as good as everybody else or as clean. You know, um, when you look at Moff is just a bully. Moff is just, a musclehead. You know what I mean? He's nothing, whatever. But we all ended up making a name for ourselves together. You know, so when I look at PJ Savage and Jay Bougie and all those guys, they're in the same spot that we were 25 years ago, trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get their foot through the door. And everywhere they work, if you notice, instantly they become the main event. You know, and that was the same situation with us. The first show we'd be on, we'd open. Within the third show after that, we're main eventing because we stepped the game up. We changed everything, and that's what they're doing. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what I said before. You got to get your guys. You ride with them. You die with them. You get each other's back. You look out. Take accountability for each other. Make sure they take accountability for each other. And you do the best that you can to change this business for the better. Not just for yourself, but for the whole business. Because there's going to be people that come after you. We didn't know that we were changing things for the generation after us and the generation after that. To us, we were just trying to get a spot. We were just trying to do our best to be noticed, be seen. And we come out and we set fire. That, if it's not for us, listen, you could say a lot of things that you want to say, but I know for a fact in my heart, not for us, Ring of Honor doesn't exist. Because what we were doing in New York and New Jersey at the time is why Rob Feinstein dedicated a whole bunch of effort to us.
Yep.
And Doug Gentry, they saw a lot in us because they saw us every week wrestling, and they were like, these are the guys. If ECW would have kept going, these are the guys that would have been in ECW carrying it on. He said the same thing with SAT and Red, and they had exposure because they would go to Maryland and they'd see the guys down in Maryland. They go to Florida and Texas and they'd see those guys. But when it came to the East Coast, there was no doubt. If you saw Hit Squad, Homicide, Low Key, SAT, Red, you knew, that you were going to see great wrestling. And that was the demand that we put on for ourselves, and that's what these guys are trying to set. I have no problem with that. I'm all about it. I want them to succeed. At the same time, my whole thing about this was Magic did me a favor. How can I repay Magic? He's got this kid, Jay Bougie. Jay Bougie's getting a little bit of a name for himself. Jay Bougie's really good. He's really talented. He's one of Magic's champions. If we do something to set up and I can help elevate him, higher profile status, nothing wrong with that. The same thing Magic did for me. Jay Bougie, though, took it to the next level, which is fine. Hey, listen, when you're young, you got to take the chance, because if you don't, nobody else will for you. And I'm all for them talking smack. They just have to understand that you don't just talk smack and get away with it. You talk smack and there's consequence. It's up to you how you handle those consequences. So while I like Jay Bougie, and my whole goal was just to elevate him, which we haven't even wrestled, and you've seen more Jay Bougie stuff in the last 3 weeks than you have this entire time. So he knows and he understands, because he said it. This is his biggest match. But at the same time, I'm fired up. And when I'm fired up, that means that it's not going to be an easy night for you. That means that the bear paw starts coming out. And while you think I'm slower and faster, I'm not as fast as I used to be. When I'm pissed off and upset, and not just a little bit, but a lot, then it really comes out how much of an athlete I really am. Like, the body wakes up for a hot minute. It's like, oh, hey, you can do this stuff. And then as soon as I do it, oh, I'm so old. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to happen with Jay Bougie. He's going to push the button, and I hope he does, because it'll make the match better.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really just want this to be a sign of thank you to Titan, thank you to Magic, thank you to JP, Frank, Bobby Lombardi from LIWF, Homicide, Key, Moff, Kyle the Beast, Louis, everybody that's been a part of my career. This is a thank you to them. As much as this is, a celebration for my career. I mean, to me, I really do think I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I'm not anything special. I'm funny. I know I'm funny. I'm cool. I know I'm the guy that a lot of guys turn to for advice, and and anybody could talk to me. I mean, you've seen how it is in the back. People I never met before, I'm talking to and spending an hour talking about other stuff other than wrestling. But then we talk about wrestling. We're there for 3 hours. You know, um, it's funny because Keith Lee um, made his debut last night for AEW.
Yep.
Keith Lee, we had only known each other maybe about a couple of months, and he wrestled up here for, I believe it was Ace, and he was stranded, and I had invited him back to my house. I was like, hey, bro, you can come hang out at my house, and then I'll take you to the airport in the morning when it's time to go. And he was like, you would do that? I was like, yeah, I would do it. I know who you are, but like, even if I didn't know, as long as you ain't gonna steal nothing from my house, which I don't think you will, yeah, I'm all about it. He's like, oh man, thank you so much. You know what I mean? And like, we hung out, and he was so amazed by it. Like, that's because my house is like, back then it was like, a kiddie playground. I had video games and wrestling DVDs everywhere. Like, Dickinson and EYFBO used to come over and be like, oh, it's time to play some video games, or, time to watch wrestling. And that's what we did. And me and Keith Lee bonded over that, and it's cool that that's because of wrestling. That, right now, this guy literally hyped up the entire professional wrestling world last night. Someone that I'm cool with, someone that's in my phone. If I want, I could just call him right now and talk to him. You know what I mean? And it's cool that I'm able to have that because of pro wrestling. So, like I said, I'm very thankful, and this match is going to be my thank you to pro wrestling, to everyone who's helped me and supported me, over the 25 years that I've been around. This is pretty amazing to me because, like I said, I'm nobody. I'm just, Steve. And the fact that people want to celebrate me, it means the world to me because, how many people get a chance to celebrate anything, So I really I want everybody to have a good time this weekend, whether you're a fan or wrestler or whatever. Hang out, just enjoy the vibe. I'm gonna create a set list to play for music before, while everybody's coming in, because I want it to be my type of vibe.
Yeah.
I'm very much into 90s hip hop, and I like my metal and my rock and stuff, but I want it to be a reflection of the vibe that I wanted to create.
Yeah.
And I hope that, as people are walking in, they see that it sets the tone, and then the rest of the night, everybody just goes in there, give it your best, but have a lot of fun no matter what, and just have a lot of good memories.
That's great. And again, that's what I just hearing about it right now. It's creating that vision. Like, you can see it now. We're not even there yet. And that's great. Mm-hmm. That's what you want from it. You want to start seeing, like, this is what's going to happen on Saturday. That's awesome. Again, for Jay Bougie, if I'm him, get ready. Because again, if that monster,
I'm telling you now, there's a couple of moves I've been saving. You know what I mean? And I believe he's going to fall victim to a few of them. So, listen, I'm not sleeping either. I mean, he's younger than me. He's, got almost 20 years, on me. Actually, I think my career is longer than he's been alive, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been wrestling longer than he's been alive. It's just crazy to think. But, I'm looking to pull out some stuff. I want people, like I said, there's going to be eyes on this. I want people to be like, not just for him, but for me, like, goddamn, where the hell that come from? You know what I mean? Because, I'm sure there's people that haven't seen me. I know that there's going to be a lot of old JP fans coming to the show because they've hit me up, and I'm all about that. So I want them to, when they see me, not to think, oh, he should be out of the ring already, but I want them to see, like, damn, he still can go, because no matter what, when you get to my age and you've seen what I've seen and done what I've done, you start to doubt anything that you can do because you know that the body can only go so far, and like I said, for me, it's also a hey, let me show you guys just a little bit of what I hide.
No, and I can say again from firsthand experience, seeing what you're still doing. Again, I've been lucky to get to watch you, especially at Catalyst now. And I'm gonna say this out of my perspective, you haven't missed a beat. It's been great to see
Thank
what
you.
you can still do in there. And again, look, this picture says it alone. You're holding tag titles right now. Again, it's 25 years in, 25 years young, I'm gonna say, because that's how it looks like here. Because you guys are holding tag gold. You and G's another one who another vet in this business, and you guys are holding tag gold. And for the rest of the people at Catalyst, good luck. Because
Like I said, that's not even the final form because there is something that's going to change with that situation there. But in all due time, we'll be able to show everybody what we're talking about. But Jeez is someone that I am very much respectful of. He's so great in the ring. He's always hungry and motivated to do better and get more. Since I met him, he wasn't just satisfied with winning. He wanted to win more and do more. And that's why when I had say, he was my JAP champion because I knew no matter what his size is, you could look at him and see, oh, he's way short and he's not that big, but you can't tell him that he's not that because he wrestles like he's 6'3", like Brock Lesnar size. If you look at Jesus and how he wrestles like that size. You know what I mean? So we could never ever tell anyone, oh, you're not that, whatever. If you're wrestling like that and you look the way he does, I mean, he's got $1 million body. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
But when most wrestlers are 5'10" and up, and you're under 5'8", then it might come off to them like he's not nothing. But then you see him wrestle, and he wrestles better than everybody, and he's not that young.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He's been around a hot minute,
yep,
but he's wrestling his best now than ever in his career, which is
yep,
testament to Black G. So,
yep.
it's pretty cool that I get to, in my 25th year of wrestling, I get to be a tag champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Well, there you go. There's your thoughts on it. I wonder if he could say something right now, what he would say. Maybe this.
Steve, my man, Monster Mack, 25 years. Yo, to what started out as admiration for you and the rest of the Doghouse guys to being accepted as one of y'all, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You've been able to do something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people say they want to be a pro wrestler and they quit. You've done it for 25 years, you know what I'm saying? You should be happy, you should be proud, you know what I'm saying? From traveling around the world, going to Japan, dominating the indie scene, you know what I mean? And you still going strong, you know what I mean? Congratulations on 25 years, and you still got a lot left, man. You ain't slowing down, you shouldn't slow down, because you're able to still do this at a high level, and you know what I mean? And we got some Catalyst Tag Team titles to defend, big homie. See you soon. Congratulations.
That was pretty awesome. That one caught me good.
I
It really,
was
I
just
mean,
like, I'm gonna try to segue everything perfectly, like boom.
that was a brilliant one. That was really well done on your part. It's crazy because for so many years, the fans in the New Jersey wrestling scene,
Yeah.
the big fight was CZW versus JP, and CZW had Blackout to go up against JP's Hit Squad, and it was always that comparison. You had G's, you had Ruckus, and you had Eddie Kingston. And if I tell you that, like, there's never been a bone of contention between the whole group. We've all been like fam. You know what I mean? It's like boo. You know what I mean? But those guys respect the hell out of all of them. G's, like I said, G's to me is wrestling his best wrestling now
Yeah.
than he's ever been, and it's paying off. He's part of NWA. We got the Catalyst tag titles. Just so many good things going on for him right now, and he's been earning it. He put in his time, and it's finally great to see him be able to reap the rewards of all his hard work. So thank you very much, G's. Pop for that. That was pretty awesome.
Right. And it shows it right there. Look at that video. He's working out while he's like that sent
That's
this
the
message
dungeon.
to. Like,
That's the Philly dungeon. If you have his Instagram, you know about the Philly dungeon. I'm afraid of that place. Place is scary.
That was great. But again, it shows you, again, 25 years young in it. Also, again, we're talking Catalyst. There was one more guy from there that wanted to send you a message. And you know him very well from both sides of the spectrum. So let's see what he had to say.
What's up, everyone? Ash Samuels, executive producer, Catalyst Wrestling. Just want to say a happy anniversary to Steve Mack. Congratulations on 25 years. You know, it's been a pleasure getting to work with you on both sides, in the ring and on the production side. You know, one half of the Catalyst Tag Team Champions, Steve Mack. Steve Mack also a contributing factor to much of the post-concussion syndrome for myself and others in the early 2000s, and ensuring that most of us never look at the wall, any wall, the same way. Steve, happy anniversary. Here's the 25 more years in this business, regardless of what you're doing in it. But hey, maybe it's going to be in the ring, because those lariats aren't going to throw themselves, right?
That's pretty dope.
That was a lit message right there. But
yeah, for real. He had so many names coming up. It was pretty funny. He was always a different name every week when he was starting out. But I'm very proud of that dude, man. He could have been taken as a joke for a long time, but he made something out of himself, and that's something that as a wrestler, a lot of times, like you call me Theo, a lot of guys call me their uncle, some people call me their wrestling dad, whatever it is. I'm very fortunate enough to see a lot of people grow from young men and young women into, vets and successes, and just, watching them grow and mature. And he's definitely someone that really has surprised me with how well he's done with his life, because, it would have been real easy to, he fell by the wayside. No, that's not that big of a surprise. But the fact that he is doing all this, I'm very proud of him. Catalyst is a place that a lot of people respect, and they know of it as, a place to go for great wrestling, and that's because of him, his effort behind the scenes and what he's given to the wrestlers who work there. He's given a lot of freedom, creativity, and a lot of trust, and it's very cool that at this age, I get to share it with him, and he gets to put me in a position where he could kind of like thank me for helping him out when he started, But more than anything, I really do appreciate the fact that I get to watch him do his thing, because, like I said, it could have been totally different for him, but instead I get to be proud of him, Yeah. Thank you, Lee. Please.
No, it definitely has been great. And again, like I said, getting to grow up watching you guys, and now getting to learn so much from all of you, it's been amazing. And he's definitely one that, again, the first time I got to meet him actually was being introduced like that. I was like, oh, you remember this guy from Special K? I'm like, okay, it's starting to ring a bell. But then learning everything he has, like, one of the smartest minds I've known in this business now.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see what he's doing there. And again, Catalyst is on fire right now. So
yeah,
definitely. Yeah. But another pick, again, you mentioned the match earlier, and we mentioned how important, especially for the indies, this group was. Let's show this picture right here. Again, some call this like the tri-state curtain call happening at Beyond years ago. Again, especially for me, you four are the pillars for this NDC. Again, there might be a few more missing. We can mention SAT, we can mention Red, we can mention a few others. But seeing you four there, it was one of those that's like, it brings, like, even right now, I got goosebumps seeing that picture again. Like, it's insane what you guys have done. And again, it's transcended into the influences there. When you talk to anyone nowadays, they mention one of you four, if not all four at the same time. Just what it's done for wrestling. And it's great to see that picture there. And it's like, I can only imagine what was that reaction that day in that ring? Like, because I've seen it on YouTube, but I can only imagine how it felt to be in that ring at that point.
Well, even before, when the match was announced, because we had the month before, we won the tournament for tomorrow, Moff and I. And, honestly, I never expected that. Like, earlier that year, we wrestled for Beyond. We wrestled against Dickinson and Jaka. And those are our guys. You know what I mean? We were just trying to, actually, it was the year before that, now that I think about it. It was tournament for tomorrow the year before. We wrestled them. And, people were popping for the Hit Squad. And they were, I guess some people knew us, some people don't. But when we left, they were like, oh, man, that's pretty cool that these guys, doing this. And we were able to have a little bit of a run, for that year. And it all culminated with, Tournament for Tomorrow 4. And we were in there with Kimberly and Shinron, Dickinson and Jaka, and EYFBO. And it was an elimination match. And last two teams was us and EYFBO. And Santana Ortiz, LAX, whatever you want to call them. Proud and powerful. But we had given one of the hardest fought battles in that last 10 minutes. And that's you can find that. Just look it up. Watch the last 10 minutes. And we're all willing to die in that last 10 minutes, all four of us. You could see it by our effort, and that really sparked something heavy in me and Moff. It was from that point on, because up to that point, we were the old guys and we were in there with the young lions. And, they were just trying to scratch and take a chunk out of us and try to slow us down. And being in that moment, that sparked us, And I just remember talking to Drew. He's like, oh, we got to come back because this is supposed to be the last show at that venue, FET. We want to bring in something big. Or it was supposed to be for a while. Like there was going to be, end of the year show, and then it was going to be a few months off. So I was like, well, I don't know what we could do. We could try to get the Briscoes, but their Ring of Honor contract really limits them. Do you want me to call Key? Because Key really wasn't doing too many shows in the Northeast at the time.
Yeah.
He's focused mostly on Japan and stuff. I was like, why don't we do Key and Homicide? And, Drew was all about it. He's like, if you think we could do it, I'm down to pay for it, And, we set it up. And when they announced it, because, it was a tease. It was like, is it going to be the Briscoes? Is it going to be Red Dragon? Is it going to be War Machine? Who's it going to be? And there was a blank spot. And people were like, who the hell could be in that blank spot? It'd probably be just a joke. And when they saw it was Homicide Key, everyone lost their mind. They're like, oh, because no one expected Key to ever wrestle for Beyond. So, we go and we have that match. And hearing Homicide's music play, hearing Key's music play, they're my best friends for my family. I've always been a mark for their entrance, their music, and everything that comes with them. You guys, the fans are all marks for it, but I'm a mark too. I'm not afraid to say that. They're my family. I'm very proud of everything that, my family has been able to do. And to share that moment with them, considering that for a while Moff wasn't around, we had a falling out with him. We were able to overcome that. We were able to get back onto, business terms and just, rebuild our relationship. And to have that special moment with them, the four of us that, like I said before, we went to Japan, we went all over the country, all over the world together, and share that in front of those fans. The Beyond fans are some of the greatest fans I've ever wrestled in front of. I'll always say that. It's something different when you're wrestling and they're right there on you and you could hear everything that they're saying. You could hear everything that they're doing. And they're so lit. I mean, everything they do, you feel it. It's like an energy source coming right at you when you're in the middle of the ring. And in that venue, too. That venue is just a remarkable venue. That's easily my favorite venue. And then, we have the moment we're wrestling each other and Pinky Sanchez ruins the match. So there's no winner. everyone was pissed. But they knew that Pinky was going to die. He was going to be the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
And, you know, when he ate death and all of us stood over him and, you know, the crowd was going insane, you know, and it was one of those feelings like, man, if we don't do anything else, this is a great way to end this story, you know, because just being in there with all of us, you know, it's always weird. I know a lot of people are always, you know, there's a lot of people, as much as you guys love me, there's a lot of people who hate me too, you know, for whatever reason. I don't know, you know, what it is, but there's a lot of people who, you know, they, for whatever reason, they talk a lot of trash. And one of the things they always say is, you didn't sign a contract to a TV company. And they always make it like it's something that, like, I was supposed to do and I didn't do, and I was a letdown because I didn't do it. But the crazy part is, yeah, everyone signed a contract except for me. It never bothered me. And the reason why, because I always appreciated everything I was given. I was always thankful for the opportunities that I was given. You know, there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, who else knows what this feels like? Don't matter what it is. You know, one of the things I talk to when I talk to students, there's 8 billion people in the world. Let's say there's 100,000 wrestlers around the entire world. Let's say even 250, right? That's less than a tenth of the population, right? Not even, that's less than 1% of the pop. You know what I'm saying? How many of them know what it's like to stand on the top rope and hear your name chanted? Or how many of them know what it's like to stand in the middle of the room and everyone's cheering for you or booing for you? Not that many people know. But I know what it's like around the world. I wrestled in Puerto Rico, Japan, I've done stuff in Mexico, I've done stuff in Canada. You know what I mean? I've been all over. I know what it's like. I've done it with guys that I looked up to, Vader, Mike Awesome. Done it with guys like SAT, who I rode all over with. I've done it with everybody somebody that's come from the East Coast. There probably isn't too many people that I haven't wrestled. And I've been fortunate enough to be at some point of their career, we intersected. To me, that's dope.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I never saw much for me. I never saw, you know, I wasn't going to be a scientist or, you know, a carpenter or anything like that. You know, I was going to find a job and if I can make it stick, it sticks. You know what I mean? But the fact that, like, my name was in the WWF magazine at a time when WWF magazine meant something. Did it twice. You know what I mean? I got stuff on WWE Network, or it used to be the network. It's Peacock now, whatever the hell you want to call it. But my face is there.
Yeah.
You know, my face was on WWE Instagram. My face is on WWE Facebook. At one point on Impact, when they did their top 50 moments, I was a part of that. You know what I mean? I didn't have a contract, but I was still part of that. I had fans hitting me up from the UK and Germany and France. Are you ever going to wrestle? Because we see a lot of JP out here and a lot of USA Pro and a lot of ICW, a lot of old Ring of Honor. I would love to see the Hit Squad over here. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I wasn't known, you know. And one of the coolest things I ever found out, my father and I were never close, right? I know my father's still around. I'll talk to him every once in a while, but it wasn't like father and son. But out of everybody who's ever had my last name, Carrasquillo, I'm one of the most famous Carrasquillos in the history of the world. Not just my time, but out of everything that's ever happened in recorded history. If they look up Carrasquillo, my name's going to be one of the first ones to pop up. That means a lot to me. That means more than almost anything, especially a contract. Would it have been nice to have gotten paid? Sure. You know what I mean? But when you look at all the stuff that I've been able to accomplish, all the things that I've done, man, I'll take that any day. You know what I mean? It all it says to me was that I worked hard to get what I wanted. Yeah. And I wanted that stuff. The only thing I'm missing, and honestly, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, is to be in a video game as myself and not just like a create a part or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's it. I'm happy with what I've done. You know what I mean? I got to travel with my friends. I got to make new ones. I got to meet idols and legends. You know how awesome it was for me to meet Stan Hansen and him mark out because I had a shirt that he was on. You know what I mean? Like I had a shirt with him and Brody from a magazine cover, and I brought it so he could sign. And when he saw it, he took a picture of it himself on his phone to send to his wife and be like, "Hold this for me." Like, how awesome is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I'll take that all day over being, on TV all the time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm very fortunate and blessed. And if I don't wake up tomorrow, God forbid, just know that I'm cool with everything I've done. I'm cool with all the people I've done work with. You know what I mean? Because even people like yourself that I seen you as a kid. I mean, you're still a kid now. Don't get me wrong. But, you know what I mean? I seen you as a much younger child. And now you're growing into, you have your own show. You're doing all this stuff. It's not because, you just fell into it. You've been working hard at it. You've been putting in the effort, and you've been doing it for a while now. And it's cool for me to see that because I knew you before you did all this. So I'm proud of you in that. You know what I mean? Just like there's a lot of other wrestlers that I'm proud of, or people just in the business in general. Because it's not easy. Being a human is not easy. It's tough. It's hard work. But when you can see people doing what they love and doing it a lot and doing it well, that's awesome. So thank you for doing all the stuff that you do. Because like I said, I see you all the time hustling and putting out your stuff and doing all your things. It's not easy, but I know that you do it. And I know that you're working hard at it. So that's pretty cool to me.
No, thank you so much, Theo. That's, again, I'm about to tear up here on this podcast. Jeez. Because, again, it is, and again, I get it. People say what they say about the contract stuff. But end of the day, like I said, comes from me, comes a lot of kids in my generation, all that. You are, again, a legend to us. There's a reason we call you Theo. There's a reason why we look up to you so much. And, again, it's crazy to think, again, having this conversation right now to me is like, it means the world to get to talk to you like this and get to once in a blue be able to just, hey, hit up Theo and be like, hey, what's up, Theo? How's this going? Like, and just get to pick your mind for a bit. It's always great. And to hear those words, it's amazing. And thank you so much for that. And again, it's something that this is all great.
It's real though. It's real stuff. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that maybe the reason why I never got a contract is because I'm too real sometimes. And like Homicide says, I'm not humble. I'm way too humble. I mean, I'm not, selfish, and I'm way too humble, and I'm too real for certain people. But, I'd rather be real and not be on TV than to be fake and miserable and have a contract.
No, definitely. And again, as one of the biggest fans of yours, I'll say, definitely, I'm glad that never changed, and that's still here to this day. But also, yeah. I got one last video. One last person that wants to say something. So to continue the moment here he is.
What's up, y'all? I go by the name of Homicide, but as right now, I'm going to call myself D. I'm a coach. I'm whatever, a leader. I want to talk to Steve, not MONSTA Mack. And the reason why is that Steve is a personal, one of my best friends in the whole world. One of the biggest heart, not only in pro wrestling, but as a personal issue in life. Steve Mack did so many things for everybody, including myself. He is one of my first students in professional wrestling. But he also gave me some advice. I'm still here because of Steve. Right now, I'll be in Rikers Island. That's a different story. But I want to say congratulations to Steve Mack. I love you, bro. Hopefully 30, 40, 50 more years, you're not a grumpy old man. You're just a man with a lot of passion. I love you, bro. And I want you to be a douchebag and hurt somebody. But it's a different inside story. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Ichiban. All that good stuff. Happy 25 years. Hola le cabrone. MONSTA Mack forever.
I told you. He says too humble. I need to be selfish. He just said he wants me to be a dick and fuck somebody up. So that was awesome.
Oh,
Him. There's two people that I talk to on the regular now, and life is a lot different for me because I changed my whole scene. I ended up getting divorced, and it was just there's certain things that you got to do, and in that process, there's only two people that I talk to every day besides the girl that I'm with, Liza, and that's Homicide, and the other one is my friend Guapo. Um, the two of them, they're always telling me like you're way too humble. You need to know that how good you are, and to be honest, that's just not me. I'm never gonna be that way. Like I'm always gonna be the type to you get it, not me. You know what I mean? But with Homicide, we both came from the same type of background, and we both know how easy it is to be the other way and not be in wrestling and be successful. And you go through, he went through it a little bit. He went to jail. He knows what it's like on the inside, and it's an everyday struggle, when you're around the element. But you got to pull yourself out, and he did. And it hasn't been easy, but at the same time, wrestling for him is like breathing air for everybody else. It's just so natural, and it's crazy because when I look back to my training, like I did my bumps and I did my running the ropes and stuff like that, but I didn't do it like as repetitious as some people did. Some people had to do it every day for months, but I didn't do it every day for months. Speaking as honest as possible. My training was pretty much, I feel like I learned the psychology first and then learned everything else because of Homicide. But like we were learning on the fly with a lot of the stuff because, we were from right away, people were always wanting to use us and, put us in positions to be seen. So there wasn't really that much time to learn the ropes until you were out in front of the crowd, and Homicide got me ready for that. And, no matter what, we were able to teach each other, show each other the right way to do things, and show each other, not to take things so serious because when you get caught up in this life, you really forget who you are. You forget that this is just entertainment. While it is something you have to respect, but ultimately that's what it comes down to. It's entertainment. This isn't, even with football and baseball and basketball, that's all become entertainment. It's no longer competitive. But like, let's say like the Olympics, you don't see anybody just cheesing because they're in the Olympics. They're training, and when they have to do, TV time, everything's serious. And it's not until after they're, a gymnast or an athlete that's when they show their real side. Up to that point, everything's serious. And like with wrestling, that's the same thing. So many people take it so serious and so strict. They forget that you're supposed to have fun. But Homicide and I, we always talk about it. As we get older, there's a lot of things we hate about wrestling. But there's a lot of things that we love about it as well. And as long as we can talk, it's funny that he talks about the grumpy old man thing because we always say it. We're the grumpy old men of the locker room now. But I mean, that's just between us because you've seen how we are. We're laughing. One of the things that people used to always say, they knew I was at a show because they would hear me laugh, and it goes to show like that's what people really pay attention to. They don't pay attention to what you do in the ring. They pay attention to your character, pay attention to what kind of person you are and how you treat other people. That's what shows first and foremost, and I've always prided myself on being the least judgmental out of everyone in the locker room because I understand anybody could have a bad day. Doesn't matter what. You don't know what they're going through. And, just because they're like that, the one time doesn't mean like that they're like that all the time. And, Homicide would be like, yo, screw that, dude. Let's beat his ass. Nah, dude, chill. You got to chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, relax. You don't know what's going on.
No.
And I pride myself on being the voice of reason for a lot of people. Whenever we go out, I'm usually the sober one because I want to make sure everyone gets home. You know what I mean? But it's always been surreal to me that I've had, like I said, the career, the friendship, the path that I've been on, and that guys like Homicide and Louis have been around me the entire time, and we always had each other's back. We always make sure that we're in a good place. Same thing with my friend Guapo. A lot of people don't like him because he tells people straight up, and they think he shouldn't be that way, but he's coming from a life experience. And I don't judge him. I don't judge anyone because that's just how I am. You know what I mean? I try to show everyone the utmost respect. Doesn't mean I gotta like you, but you know what I'm saying. But I do my best to give you your space, let you talk your piece, I talk mine, and if you do it again, then I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. But thank you, D. That was pretty awesome.
No, this definitely was great. And again, Theo, thank you so much for doing this. This was something that it was great that we got to do this. I'm glad we got to celebrate. We got to talk about all this. This was amazing. Like, even the people in the chat, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, even Ron Starr coming down in the chat now, another Unk. Matt Austin, oh, geez, I just noticed his comment. Matt's asking if you're bringing the machete on Saturday.
Actually, I was thinking about it, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's always in my bag. That's actually, so let me just give a quick story. That machete that I carried at BWF, there's a lot of history to it. That machete was used between Homicide and Low Life Louie at JP back in '99. They had a Christmas tree death match. And if I'm not mistaken, Homicide put the machete in Louie's mouth and tapped him out that way with the machete in his mouth. But yeah, I've had that machete has a lot of history and it's always in my bag. And I always tell Louis I'm going to give it back to him the day that I'm out. That's when he knows I'm out. I'm going to hand him the knife back. But yeah, that's definitely, it's always with me. So it just might make an appearance.
Well, there you go, guys. But again, Theo, I don't want to take any more of your time here because we could go on for hours here. So again, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this again. As the young kid, again, you said you were a kid from Brooklyn. We've had this convo before. I'm still growing up in the same area here. Like, legit, we've talked about it. I think I'm a block away from where you guys used to be. So it's to see what you've been able to do with seeing guys like you, Homicide, Low-Key, Mov, just what you guys have done and transcended, and even more. It gives a kid like me that hope. And again, I've been lucky to be able to continue to do this in wrestling, doing the podcast game now. It's great to still be able to get that advice from you guys, have these conversations, and just continue to learn. And this is still truly an honor. Again, I'm going to keep calling you a legend till the one day you lariat my head off. But I'm going to still do it. So thank you so much, Theo. This is amazing. Love you, man.
Right.
This is great.
Thank you.
So again, guys, this has been Respect the Craft, episode number 8. Again, go check out Titan Championship Wrestling this Saturday. Go watch MONSTA Among Men. Go follow them and go follow Theo Mack on Twitter as well. You're going to want to see the crazy stuff. Again, he's always posting his clips as well. Go check him out. And also you get to see the crazy like gaming setups once in a while too, because that arcade is – I'm still jealous about that. I'm looking at a PS5 right now, but I'm jealous of that arcade.
I got the Xbox Series S, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy it because I'm waiting to get the PS5 until Gran Turismo comes out.
Yeah.
But I was like, let me check out the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
I love that thing. That thing is the best. Like, you get a Game Pass Ultimate with it, you straight. You know what I mean? You don't need nothing else. And I've been loving that setup. But when I get the Ultimate setup, because right now this place was just a place for me to stay at. I'm looking to get into a bigger house eventually. And when I create my Steve room where you can see the final form of my setup, trust me, I'll invite you over. And
I was gonna say that's it. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna do what
you can't stay. You gotta go home, and not unless you're paying rent. If you pay rent, then you can hang out all you want. But
I was gonna say that's it. I'm gonna pull a Monkey and Drastic, and that's it. I'm gonna be there all day.
Hey,
Like,
listen, you know what's so funny? There were so many times they would come over and they'd be like, is your wife going to allow us to play games? I'm like, she got no say. We wake her up. And that's why I'm divorced now.
oh man. Again, this was great. On that note, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking it with us. Definitely go support MONSTA Mack this Saturday. Support all those guys. Again, it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great vibe, and you're not going to want to miss it. And continue to support independent wrestling as a whole. As always, be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, and respect the craft. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.